So I just found out about this company, Voom, that is launching rideshare and delivery insurance in Arizona and Tennessee. And I was on their website, and they've got a really cool graphic here, basically comparing the different options for the companies. And, we all know Uber. I was really surprised by what I found here. And, we all know Uber, right? So coverage during period 1, this is basically when you have the app on and you're driving. So coverage period 1, this is basically when you have the app on and you're waiting for a request, you're waiting for a ride or delivery. And so they actually provide liability, $50,000, $100,000. These are basically the state minimum. So they do have something. And then here during period 2 and 3, this is basically when you're driving to or with a passenger. And this is when they provide the big insurance, right? Because there's now a passenger in the car, during period 3, for example. So that's when they get the $1 million. And then this is actually the only time that Uber, if you get into an accident during period 2 and 3, this is the only time they will cover collision on your car, right? So the repairs to your car, but they do require a $2,500 deductible. Lyft is actually the same. So if we look at Lyft's policy, it's basically identical to Uber's. So Uber and Lyft both have pretty solid insurance during 2 and 3, but that period 2 and 3 deductible could be a big issue for you. So, definitely look for a company that has a buy down option if you're going to go with the rideshare insurance. Now let's look at Uber Eats. So Uber Eats has pretty good insurance, very similar during that period 1 time, and during periods 2 and 3, it's basically identical for the most part, no uninsured and underinsured. But the big difference I want you guys to look at, check out Uber Eats versus DoorDash, for example. DoorDash does not provide coverage during period 1, so you are on your own. During period 3, $1 million of liability. That's great. You're not going to get sued, or you might get sued, but they're really going after, the companies and that money. But there is no collision coverage, right? There's no deductible, there's no collision coverage, right? So if you get into an accident, you are on your own during these times, right? No comprehensive and collision. That's a big deal. Now, a lot of delivery drivers I know have struggled to find insurance. That's sort of why it's cool that, Voom has this new delivery insurance product. Then if we look at Amazon Flex and, also, they've got so period 1 isn't really relevant because they do an hourly rate. But then if you look at periods 2 and 3, so basically when you're on a job, they provide pretty good insurance here, $50,000 per incident with a $1,000 deductible. So that's pretty solid. But what I was kind of surprised here, look at Grubhub and then look at Instacart, no coverage, no coverage, no coverage. So you guys are on your own. So insurance is super important. Personal insurance does not cover driving for hire, whether you're doing rideshare, whether you're doing delivery. And that is why it's so important to get rideshare or delivery insurance endorsement, right? We've got a big marketplace on our site, the RideShare Guy, with all the different options by state. Like I mentioned, Voom has a new rideshare and delivery insurance product for those of you in Arizona and Tennessee. So you can kind of click here, get a quote if you're interested. But otherwise, definitely make sure that you look into that, because when we surveyed our audience, less than half of our drivers actually have some type of rideshare insurance. Remember, personal insurance will not cover you in these situations. So if you get into an accident anywhere that it said no comprehensive and no collision or no liability, you're on your own. You're going to not only be able to not drive and not earn, but you're going to have to cover the cost of the repairs and maybe, the damage to other cars and liability. So this is serious stuff. Definitely don't want to scare anyone, but make sure that you know what you're doing.